Hello and welcome to another deck idea brought to you by Double Sleeve. We are heading into the last couple of leaders now for set 21. We are up to green. I hope you've been enjoying the deck ideas. Thank you for joining me in the discussions with what you guys think we should put in these decks and helping build these decks into the best that we can as a community. Continue to do so with this one here. Let us know what you think about Cell. We are diving into this today. Join us in the comment section below if you think there's anything we should add to the deck, if you think that there's anything that we've missed. Otherwise, let's get into the deck profile. If you are enjoying our content, please subscribe to the channel and put a like on this video so it lets us know that you're enjoying the content. So heading into the leader here, we have Cell in his cocoon. Auto, when this card is placed in your leader area, place up to one Ginger Town from your deck into your opponent's battle area. Has an active main, switch this card to rest mode and place one green android from your hand to the bottom of your deck and draw two cards. So it's really good cycle on the leader front there without having to actually swing and give your opponent advantage. Awaken is when your life is at 5 or less, or there is a green cell with an energy cost of 3 in play. Play up to one Android 17 and one Android 18, both green with an energy cost of 2, from your deck into your opponent's battle area. Shuffle your deck, then add cards to your life to your hand until you have 5 left. Looking at the leader back, so we have Cell in his first form, has the permanent, unless there are one or more cards with both Android 17 and 18 both green with an energy cost of 2. Under this card you can't activate Z Awaken, so key pieces in the deck, that's why we run the combo at a maximum 4 of each, just to make sure we're not going to miss that. And we're running the deck at a 51 card, so by the time you put your field card in your opponent's battle area, you're running at a 50 card deck. Auto once per turn, when you use one of your opponent's battle cards in a combo, this card gets plus 5,000 power until the end of your opponent's turn. And then auto, when this card attacks, draw one card and choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less from your drop or your opponent's battle area and place it under this card. Now, obviously, we're going to use that last skill to help get cards underneath, to help get our Awaken condition for Z Awaken. You'll notice on the leader, both the leader front is at only 5,000 and the leader back is 10,000. Obviously, we've got the autos that help with that a little bit. But the real key to this leader is actually in the Z deck. So we might just jump through the Z deck quickly and show you the leader chain. So the first part of the leader chain is here, Cell waiting for impact. So Z Awaken for 1 green energy. Your green cell with an original power of 10,000. Really important they've done that to make sure that you can't keep cycling this over and over multiple times. Has Z stack 2 green cell leader. And auto, when this card attacks, draw one card. Auto, if your life is 3 or less and you play one Android 18 with an energy cost of 2 from under this card into your opponent's battle area. When you take damage from an opponent's attack, place up to one cell about to explode from under this card on top of this card. So this really has, just like in the anime, it goes through the chains of going through all those different forms of cell. So you play an Android 18 out. Android 18 is really good. So if your opponent's leader green cell, in this case played, your opponent draws one card. So you'll get a draw for that by playing that in your opponent's battle area. So you go from this one, you'll place Cell about to explode on top, which is this one here, Cell about to explode. Z Awaken, so it can play regardless if you do choose to go that way, but you'll generally get this out through the other Z Awaken chain. If your life is at 1 on a green cell, permanent, this card can't attack. Permanent, if there is a Cell Perfect Resurrection under this card and your life becomes 0, instead of losing the game, choose all of your opponent's battle cards in unisons other than Earthling tokens. They're important to our strategy. Place them in their drop area. Add the top 2 cards of your deck to your life and then place one Cell Perfect Resurrection from under this card on top of this card. So what you're going to do, you're going to go down to 0. You revive your 2 life, and then you go into your 20k leader base. So the auto for this one is, and this is, you're going to get that cycle regardless of what happens. So even if you don't go down to 0, at the beginning of your turn, add all your life to your hand. So that will put you down to 0, triggering the next part of Cell, which is Cell Perfect Resurrection. So just like the anime, blows up, comes back bigger and better. And we have, this is for 2 green energy if your life is 3 or less on a green cell. Auto, when this card is placed in your leader area, this card gets plus 5,000 power for the turn. So it's got a base 20,000 power. We'll go up to 25,000 for that turn. Auto, when this card attacks, draw 1 card and then choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. And active battle, once per turn, activate an active battle skill on 1 green extra card from your hand with both Cell and Kamehameha in its card name without paying its energy cost. So we know there's 2 cards that fit in with that. There's 1 new one for the set, and then there's obviously the Cell's Earth Destroying Kamehameha, which gives you the 15k. We'll go through those cards soon. But that's the leader chain. Just to go through, because we don't have too many other cards, we've got 1 copy of Jiren and a couple of copies of Frieza. Frieza is such a solid card for 2 energy, 1 Z energy, has double strike. When this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards. Energy costs 5 of this to KO it. And then place 1 of your Z energy in its owner's drop area when 1 of your other green battle cards with an energy cost of 2 or more attacks, your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. We are going with a bit of a hand destruction chain here, so cards like this are going to come in really handy to try and chew away at your opponent's hand size if necessary, and that's why it's important to have that leader front that cycles without having to put the pressure on. This is, looking at it on paper and a little bit of testing, Gohan looks a little bit stronger than this, but I really think this deck still has a lot of potential. You can still do some really interesting things, and it's going to catch some people by surprise. Looking at the battle card in this deck, we have Cell Greedy Absorption. It's a 1 cost for 2 Z energy, but has the permanent, if this card is in your Z deck and you may pay it without paying its Z energy cost by switching 2 of your opponent's Earth tokens to rest mode instead. So resting 2 of those tokens, you get to play it for just paying the 1. You don't need any Z energy for this. Auto limit 1, when this card attacks, use 1 of your opponent's Earthing cards with an energy cost of 1 or Earthing tokens in a combo in your combo area. If you do, this card gets plus 5,000 power until the end of your opponent's turn, and it has an active main limit 1. If your leader card is a green cell, you may choose a total of 2 or more of the opponent's Earthing cards with an energy cost of 1 or Earthing tokens. Remove them from the game, this card gets plus 10,000 power. So it becomes, essentially by the time you do all of this, you get to be a 20k beater. Not too bad for 1 energy. Going into the main deck here, now the big field card, so this is going to be played at your opponent's, in your opponent's field at the start of the game, has the permanent, if your opponent's leader is a green cell, and this card is in your battle area, your Earthing tokens can't attack, and you can't use Earthing tokens or green Android 17, 18 cards with an energy cost of 2 in a combo. So that's what's going to protect your pieces to make sure they can't just remove them. You're not going to be able to play tokens, they're not going to be able to just combo them off because they do have 0 combo power. Auto, if it's your opponent's turn, when this card is in your battle area, when your opponent plays a mono green cell from their hand, play 2 Earthing tokens which have 1,000 power and 0 combo cost and 0 combo power from your battle area, and your opponent can't activate extras with counter skills for the duration of the game. That is the worst part of this deck, the fact that you cannot use extra card counters, but we do still have counters in the deck. It's also, this leader has received an errata because they realized they stuffed up and it was going to be absolutely broken with Black Marseille and Koistakai, so they've errated it and said you can only include green Android cards in the deck. So that has impacted the way that I built this. Ideally, I would have loved to have done a janky Black Marseille, destroy your 8 cards in your hand every single turn, but you know, it's just not possible at the moment. They do need to, I think, tweak that a little bit more to green battle cards, not just green androids. But at the end of the day, this is where we're at. Let's see how we go after the errata and see how it lands in the meta. Because you guys know I like to do things in order, we've got the 1-drop cells first. Starting at the little feeder cell here, Birth Omen has the auto. When this card is played, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, add 1 green cell with an energy cost of 5 or less to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Auto limit 1, if your leader is a green cell Z leader, you can remove 1 of your opponent's Earthing tokens from the game, and when this card is used in a combo, play up to 1 green cell with energy cost of 3 and 10,000 power from your deck, and then shuffle your deck. So nice way to be able to play cards out from your deck there. Also, quick note that I have gone down the successor path with this cell. I've tried to keep it as thematic as possible, get as much cell in there as possible, because A, it's androids, and B, just because of the kind of deck and the chain it is, I really like the thematic way that it goes. And I think the Successor chain, this is probably one of the best ways I can see it being played since it's actually been released. Going into the next one cost here is when this card is played, draw one card. Has an auto for limit 1 green. If your leader is green, sell Z leader and you remove one of your opponent's earthing tokens from the game. When this card is using a combo, play up to 1 green cell with a cost of 3 and 10,000 power from your deck. So these obviously operate very similar. One is your searcher, and while the other one is just your +1. We have three cost cells in the deck. I've gone for a 3-3-3 split. Now, we have cell preparing a plan, has barrier, permanent, add one combo cost and energy cost to your opponent's Android 17 and 18 cards, both green, with an energy cost of 2. And you may use them from your opponent's battle area when choosing cards, battle cards with the Successor skill, cost of a cell in your hand. So really important, you don't need to have them on your field. You can have them played out on your opponent's field. They obviously can't combo them off, but then you can use them for Successor by putting them in the drop and clearing them off your opponent's board. Active main for 1 green. If your leader card is a green cell with 15,000 power or more, play this card from your hand, play up to 1 Android 17, 18, both green with an energy cost of 2 or less from your deck, or drop in your opponent's battle area with their skills negated, and then shuffle your deck if you look through it. Would have been nice if they got their skills, because that creates a discard draw, but at the same time it's 1 energy, so would be getting a little bit of too much power for that. Going into the next one, Cell Satan Absorbed, we have the auto. When this card attacks, use up to 1 of your opponent's earthing cards with an energy cost of 1 or earthing tokens in a combo. If you do, this card gets plus 10,000 power until the end of your opponent's turn, so it becomes 20k until the end of your opponent's turn. Active main, limit 1 for 1 green. Choose one of your opponent's earthing tokens, switch it to rest mode, and play this card from your hand. Active main, once per turn, if this card's power is at 20,000 power or more, choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less and KO it. So a nice little bit of removal. And then the next 3 costs here has Deflect permanent. If this card's power is 15,000 power, it can't be KO'd once per turn. Limit 1, when this card attacks, use up to 1 of your opponent's earthing earthing tokens in a combo. And if you do, this card gets plus 5,000 power until the end of your opponent's turn. So it becomes a 15k. Active main, limit 1, choose one of your opponent's earthing tokens, switch it to rest, and play this card from hand, all very similar. So they're your 3 costs there. They're a key piece of getting that chain going off as we go into our, we have 1 counter attack card here, and then we're going to go into your more sort of green yellow Successor chain. So the counter attack here, limit 1, negate the attack and play this card. Permanent, if your leader card is a green cell Z leader, you may activate this card's counter skill in your hand without paying its energy cost, and by removing 2 of your opponent's earthing tokens from the game instead, which is why you want to make sure you're generating earthing tokens and you don't want them to have that skill to be able to remove them. Auto, when this card is KO, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less and KO it. Now, the first one here is it removes that energy exhaust, so it has energy exhaust, blocker, EX evolve for 1 green on top of a 3 cost. So you got all of these targets here. So these will come out for 1, and then you can pay 1 to get this guy out. He's a 4 cost, which is a nice bit of power there. By the time you combine that with your Android 17 and 18, they'll be in your opponent's battle area. If you can get that first 3 cost out, you're already looking at 8 in terms of Successor cost. So you can get that amount up really quickly in this deck. Permanent, if your leader card is a green cell and you have a green android in your energy other than this card, negate this card's energy exhaust in all areas. Permanent, if your leader is a green android and you have a cell in play, reduce the combo cost of this card in your hand by 1. So it gets a free combo there. The 9 cost there again has the negating of energy exhaust for this card. So it has native energy exhaust, double strike, and dual attack. Successor for 3 energy, 1 green, 1 yellow, and 1 generic. Permanent, if your leader card is a green cell and you have a green android in your energy other than this card, negate this card's energy exhaust in all areas. Auto, when this card is played using a Successor skill that was activated by choosing 1 or more of each android 17, 18, and cell for their skill cost, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. Add up to 1 cell's full power Kamehameha from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So here's a 9 cost there. Again, it doesn't take long to build up. You've already got the 4 here, so you just need to find another 5, which generally works really well if you're going off of your 4 cost negate, and if you keep one of your 1 costs on board there. So all of a sudden you got your 5 there, plus your other 2, gets you right up to that 9. So by turn 3, you are ready to go. Now, this is an older card that we have back from set 9, Cell Unthinkable Perfection. It's a triple striker, which is really nice to have that big finisher if you need to get there and you can't really push through and you want to keep them at a higher life. So triple strike energy exhaust successor for 4 energy, 1 green, 1 yellow, and 2 generic. Has the order when your lead card is an android card. When this card is played with successor, your opponent reveals their hand, choose up to 3 battle cards in their hand, place them in their drop area, and then choose one of your opponent's leader cards, negate its non-keyword skills for the duration of the turn. I think this is a really good alternate finisher for the deck. We've got 2 copies in there. You could potentially look at bumping it up, but I think 2 is a nice, comfortable number when you think how much you can sort of draw and cycle as well. You're not going to really need to go too deep, but nice little triple strike finisher. For a secret rare, I've gone with Celzino, again, keeping to that successor chain. To get to that 12, I mean, it's really easy. If you can get the 9 cost out and one of the 3 costs, you're right there. Like, you're already at your 12 energy. Has ultimate, deflect, energy exhaust, successor, auto. This has been errated, so be sure you're at 5 energy to maximize the use of this card. If you have 5 more energy, when you play this card, choose up to 3 cards in your opponent's hand, place them in their drop area, and this card gains dual attack and quad strike for the duration of the turn, which is an amazing finisher. Back when you could play it and you could get that a lot earlier, it was really broken, but with the way that the meta is going, 5 energy is not unrealistic and it's still easy to get there. I think he's the perfect finisher for this deck. The other option would be the other Celzino, which it plays for 1 and he's a quad strike, and you can burn energy once he's sort of blown up. But I think this is the perfect finisher for this one. Now for super combos, you do have some other options. Keep in mind you do need to keep green androids in the deck. But what I've done, just to keep it a little bit more thematic, I've gone for a 2-2 split. So I've got 2 of the Cell the Awakened. So this one is the one where you combo it, and you'll be able to play it from your drop area. So here's a bit of a free beater, or you can combo him off again if you want to double down on the value of the 10k for free. The other one I've gone is for Android 18 Binding Blitz, just to remove a card from your opponent's hand. You can play around with this, whether you want to go with a different super combo altogether. You've also got the Dr. Giro, if you want to again keep it thematic in terms of the androids there, and he can put a card in your drop area if you want to put something in there to play it out. But I think this is a nice little split here. Going into the 2 cards, these are key to the deck. You got the 2 cost Android 18. When your opponent's leader is Green Cell, remember we're playing this in our opponent's battle area. When it's played, your opponent draws 1 card. The Android 17 makes your opponent discard. So if your opponent's leader is a Green Cell, when this card is played, discard 1 card from your hand. Please make sure you're not playing these into your own battle area because you don't want that skill for yourself. If you don't have a chance to play them in your opponent's battle area, you're putting it in energy because that's all they're good for is combo or energy at that point. Now for our second negate, remembering we can't use extra card negates in this deck, we have Android 17 Impending Crisis. He's a counterattack, negate the attack and play this card. We're not using him for a beater, but he's a nice bit of combo piece on the board. Has the order, if your leader card is an Android card, when you play this card, choose one battle card with energy cost of 4 of this that has Android in its name from your deck, and then place it in your drop area and shuffle your deck. So if you wanted to get any of those skills off where you're playing cards from your drop area or doing some other shenanigans, like he's a good piece to sort of get that piece in there. But apart from that, he is a battle card that can negate, which is what you want thanks to the stupid auto of Gingertown, but it is what it is. We work around it. This is the way we build decks. We have 1 copy of Android 20 Vile Creator because he gives one of your Android green Android cards double strike. So any card that you play in this deck will be able to gain double strike for comboing this. I've only put 1 because I am cautious that green can be very costly in terms of power, and we also are running 6 cards in the Cells Kamehameha line just to try and make sure you've got those targets You can potentially drop these down because they are searchable off some skills, but I've gone for a 3-3 split. It does work, remember, off the final piece of the chain with the perfect cell. So the first one we have here is Cell's Full Power Kamehameha. Active battle, if your leader card is green Cell Z leader, draw one card and then choose one. Choose up to one of your green Cell cards and it gains plus 15,000 power for the battle. Choose one of your keyword skills on one of your opponent's battle cards. Negate that skill for the turn. Good for removing barrier because you're choosing the keyword skill. You're not choosing the battle card. If it's your turn, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. And the other one here is Cell's Earth Destroying Kamehameha. Has the active battle. If your leader card is green, choose up to one of your leader cards or battle cards against plus 15,000 power for the duration of the battle. Order, if all of your energy is green, when you activate this card, choose one of your opponent's card in your opponent's hand and place it in the drop area. So look, that's the deck. I do really like this Cell deck still. I can't wait to actually get the cards in my hand so I can play it properly. And I'm really keen to try this Successor chain. Let us know in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think the Successor chain is the way to go? Would you build it a little bit differently? Throw a few other pieces in there? Let's get together as a community and try and build this into the best deck we possibly can. We only have one more leader to go after this, which will be Gohan. I'm really looking forward to diving into that with you guys soon. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you in the next one.